You are now listening to the Old Head, New Head podcast with your hosts, Eric Iberg and Ethan Schaefer.
Goddamn kids.
Shut up, old man!
Day 3 in a row.
Woohoo! Fucking all hype, man. What a great week so far.
This has been our most productive week maybe ever in the history
Well,
of
just on the stories that I was unaware of, you know? Like we're at another person today that I don't have a clue about.
Yeah, this will be a good one. We got breaking news from Mount Hood. We have the first day of good weather since we arrived.
You're talking on a fucking phone.
Yep. Typical. But it's all good. What you rolling up?
Fuck, man. What am I? I'm rolling up my fucking herbs from Ross Jacob, Dark Horse Farms here in Minnesota. So big Ross Jacob up. If you guys need some THC, some CBD, need to build a grow house, hit him up on Instagram. He'll take care of you. Probably only in Minnesota though, because that's where it's legal and that's where he lives. Yeah. Then I gotta also thank good old Blazy Susan. Letting me wrap all my weed up all the time. It's fucking great. So give thanks, Blazy Susan. You drinking today?
I actually might be. Let's celebrate the good weather. Got the Rainiers right here. Shout out the good folks at Rainiers hooking it up. And actually get a load of this. We were at Charlie's yesterday. Ran into this kid named, he goes by Sketty. And him and Simeon, who I think you might know. Simeon Skier. And
Yeah, I always don't know how to pronounce his name, but yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that the guy, like, he asked to be on the show, so.
He did, yeah. He asked me as well. But Sketty was like, shout out to Ross Jacob. My buddy works on the farm. I was like, what? So, yeah, they said they listened to the show while driving out the Hood from the Midwest. Kind of sick.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Good thanks to those guys.
Big thanks.
Also, another great time to give thanks to all the people that have given $1 or $2 to the fucking GoFundMe.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing, as I say every week, that you guys give anything and listen for hours on end. People talk about skiing, so I'm sure if you're listening to these shows and you're contributing some bucks, you probably love skiing as much as Ethan and I. So give thanks.
Yeah, we're at with Dan's 300, and let's see, we're probably around $1,500 right now.
Little over 2%.
Yep.
Almost there.
Check the link in the description for the GoFundMe. Should still be up at the time. We'll have some other links in there. Got some merch. Got some discount codes. Got some B&E Store.
I got something awesome. As I talk about, I'm working on the free skiing museum hall.com. And so I was talking to my friend Tatsuya in Japan last night. And Tatsuya used to be the editor of Free Skiing magazine in Japan and all this for a bunch of years, and then does a bunch of editorial stuff. So telling him what I was working on, because I'm trying to get Phil to go over to Japan next year and do a inspired demo tour style thing at Japanese ski resorts with kids.
Yeah.
But so we're talking about this, and I was telling him about the magazines and all this shit, and I was pulling out old Japanese magazines. He's like, "Oh, I'm digitizing every Japanese magazine, and then I'm having AI translate it for every language."
Sick.
Because you can upload, if you scan the page, you can get it translated, right? Because I was looking at one of these Andorra magazines that's in Spanish that I have from 25 years ago, and I got an 8-page article that I've never been able to read. But my kids are always like, "Dad, just open up your app and then just you put the camera on it and it translates all the words."
Yeah.
That's too easy. I wanted you guys to learn Spanish and read it to me. But yeah, so that's a huge breakthrough, man. I was imagining even Julian's magazine, We Ski in France, man, and being able to digitize those and then have it available in every language.
Sick. Be sick.
It's 100% new content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's if you have these digital versions and then with every language, man, it might have some value of some sort, and it seems totally legal just to scan and fucking.
Yeah, I was worried about that when I was originally scanning all the magazines. Damn, are these photographers and brands going to get upset?
Fuck yeah, they are, because they're not doing anything with their shit. They don't even know where their slides are. Oh, I think they're in a basket. Everyone's like, oh, no one likes Print's dead. So the magazine people, the photographers, the only people that are going to get pissed are people that haven't made an effort to do anything with their masters, with their catalog.
Yeah.
think how much time and money went into everything, and they just put it in a basket and think it's dead.
So many photos.
Musicians did that with music.
Yeah. It's crazy how many. It's a shame what happened with magazines because the ads are so fun.
Another highlight today, I want to give thanks to 1990 Skiing Magazine for providing me with filters. I ran out of filter material, and then I just went through an old skiing magazine and I ripped out all the fucking subscription cards. And then I was like, fuck yeah, I'm smoking with that for the old head shit.
That's funny.
My filters are older than you.
Yeah, that's nuts. So, and they're definitely older than our guest today. E. Cook's a young one. So what do you know about Mr. Ethan Cook, our filmer guest for today?
Nothing. So the only thing I know is that I've seen his name pop up a lot in the last 2 years. I see it a lot attached to a lot of Armada guys. And then I just see him pop up from different shit he creates. Whether what we were talking about then the last show about the pop-up fucking venues he does.
Yeah, so he's got a because that was at the very end of the Marie episode. We can go over it again. So the reason I want him on, it was like the same thing as the OSAP last year. We got a filmer, editor, creator, and he does other stuff too. He's got an event space. He does video contests. So he's not just taking videos. He's doing other shit with his opportunity, which is what we're about on this show. So he's a perfect.
You know how old he is?
I would guess 22, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, young one. So it'll be tight. Filming with Armada, filming with Monster.
And he's in Rinscranton right now.
Yeah, with
hilarious.
With B-Dog and the Armada team.
Well,
it'll be sick.
Fuck yeah, he's the superstar of his crew today.
Yeah. Big B-Dog hoodie on right now. Yeah. So this will be a good one. He's another guy that was like, yo, I'd like to talk to Iberg at some point. You should have me on. And, not everyone. I don't want to encourage, and not everyone that asks me to be on will be on. But if it's the right person asking, I'll make it happen.
Yeah, because he's doing shit, man.
He's doing shit. Exactly.
His name's as relevant as any pro because I see it as frequent as a professional skier.
Yeah, I'm really stoked. I first met him on the Knuckle at X Games, and he's filming Jib League. He's running all over the place.
So when did you first meet him?
I first met him like in passing at X Games 2023 maybe, and then really got me and got to know him much more at Jib League this year because we were roommates for a week at a time twice. But he's my friend Ryan Barrick, ski bum on the Two Planker feed. He's his friend from his home mountain, so I kind of knew him a little bit before getting to know him, and then I got to know him, and he's a cool guy. So
you got to hype your Europlanker shows more, man.
I know.
Why don't you make posts so people can share posts? I can't share a story.
I know. I'm getting in the weeds of everything else. I just got to sit down and make a graphic for it.
You have a graphic. Just use the screenshot, the story post, and then take that little thing that you share directly from Spotify or whatever, and then use that as your image.
Yeah, I should just do that. Shout out to Alex Dubes doing some sick ass episodes. Have you listened to any? The Niklas Eriksson one was tight.
Yeah, I'm so ignorant.
Yeah,
like it's so fun to be part of a medium or a platform that I have no awareness of my surroundings.
Yeah,
it's like if I made ski movies and never watched ski movies. Kind of weird.
Yeah, it is.
I do watch and listen to Drink Champs though. Super fan. They just did a Lincoln Park one, and then I thought I was blown away on their crossover where it wasn't a hip hop act, and every single hip hop fucking fan loved it.
Yeah, it's sick. I listened to the. Oh my god, I listen to a lot of different podcasts. Honestly, too many to enumerate, but there's a lot of good stuff out there, especially in the music world. If you want to interview with an artist, there's like a lot of stuff you can investigate with them.
So much.
All right, he's getting to his spot, or he's getting to a good spot right now, so he's setting up. Sick. All right, we'll get him in here.
This is episode probably like number 8, huh?
We are number 8, yeah.
So I think I counted. I think the max we want is 18 because that brings us to the Monday before Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's starting the first Monday of September.
Yeah.
So we almost halfway after the next one.
We're cruising along. Yeah, we did 16 last year, so we'll probably at the minimum match that. And then whoever we can get. Oh, here we go.
Live from Rince-Granson, the Arctic Circle.
How you doing?
How you doing?
You cold?
I was about 10 minutes ago, but now I'm cold. Is my Wi-Fi good enough?
I think you should be good. Yeah, you'll be strong. And then if not, we'll just grit our way through it if it goes wrong. Ethan, this is Eric. I don't think you guys have met before.
No.
What's up, Eric?
Nice to meet you, Ethan.
Good to meet you too.
Thanks for coming on today. I'm pretty impressed. Do you actually stay in a hotel right now, or do you guys camp?
Yeah, I'm in the hotel.
Nice. Luxury living.
Yeah, it's nice comparatively to the tent for sure.
And you're in Rince-Granson, Sweden right now?
Yep. Just finishing the Armada movie.
Wicked. And have you ever been there before?
No. Never been this far north. It's super
awesome?
trippy with the sun. Is it awesome?
Yeah.
Debatably.
Okay, because it rained or something your first 13 days, or was cloudy?
Yeah, it's just socked in the whole time, but it's good. And it's just in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, we're getting some stuff done, so that's good.
What's the latest you skied?
Skied not super late, but I was helping Mad Steez build his wall till like 2 a.m. the one night.
Okay, that doesn't count. You could build a wall in Salt Lake at 2 a.m.
Dude,
Do anything at 2 a.m. in Salt Lake.
Did you see what I sent you of the Rick Scranton wall ride from back in the day?
Sent to me.
Yeah, I sent it to your DMs, dude. You got to check this shit out. It's like the first photo of a wall ride in a ski magazine.
Jesper Ronick talked about him with Julian. Fucking Christopher Sormstrom was all stoked in the photo.
I see that here. That's pretty crazy. That's exactly where we just were. So
yeah, that was from like 1998 or some shit.
Yeah.
What was your travel journey like to get there? I'm like really interested in going to Rick Scranton.
Oh, it was fucked up because I was in Hawaii.
You were in Hawaii.
I did Maui to Denver, Denver to Salt Lake. Like had 8 hours or something in Salt Lake, and went and golfed 9 holes with 2 of my friends, and then flew Salt Lake to Atlanta, Atlanta to Copenhagen, Copenhagen to Oslo, Oslo to Narvik. And then there was some miscommunication. So yeah, there was miscommunication. I got kind of stranded at the airport, but then took a taxi like halfway, like an hour. And then Stoge's friend McDragon came and picked me up. And he's a wild guy. So that was a pretty interesting car ride there.
You know, McDragon picked you up in the Arctic Circle after all that travel?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great story just with those names.
Yeah.
That's sick. All right, Iber, give him the rundown of what we're doing, even though I'm sure he's aware.
All righty, Cook. Point of this show is started off the same way every time. So 2 years ago, I was on Ethan's show, like Two Planker podcast. Realized that, hey, Ethan's like 20 years younger than me. And I was like so interested at this time, like what kids were thinking like under 26, why they did what they do, what their goals are. Does everyone just want to be a champion? Or because all I remember when I was young and when we were the best or thought we were the best or wanted to create the best, we fucking thought everyone old in skiing was the stupidest people alive. And so what I thought was really interesting with youth right now is I wonder if like, because that's kind of what makes you create is when no one's creating what you want to see or do. So point of the show is I wanted to talk to the older guys and then use this platform that Ethan has to teach the audience kind of like how they created their own lane, how there wasn't like a path of just winning, sponsor, do something, and then you win. It's kind of an idea of like you need to create nonstop, you need to evolve, you need to keep going no matter what, and then do something different than everyone else. And then with the young people, it's just my opportunity to meet them, see why they do what they do, because you guys are everywhere. So if I'm consuming like your content that you're creating or you're in, like you're obviously doing some dope shit. Like the story you just said, like to travel that all that way, obviously you're committed to something in skiing to do a trip like that, to sit in bad weather. So that's kind of the point of the show, is just kind of want to learn where you came from, how you evolved, why you got into this niche of a niche called freestyle free skiing, and then see what you're up to. So that's it. So thank you for your time, man, because time is worth more than money, as I say. So it's,
well, thanks for having me on. It's nice to meet you and nice to talk about all that for sure. So
yeah, this will be sick. And E-Cook was actually on the Two Planker show, Iberg. So I know a lot of this stuff, but hopefully, like the Emmett episode, we can discover some new stuff. And the best part is E-Cook, Iberg doesn't know anything. So this is all brand new info. So,
but it was the same with Emmett, right? The Vishnu guy, I knew nothing. But then I was like, "What? You from Milwaukee?" And then like, it was just a circle that then goes, because obviously, if you're in the sport, we're gonna tie in somehow together.
Yeah,
for sure,
dude. So let's start at the beginning. We'll go chronological. Tell us where you're from. Tell us about the early days. Give us the whole set.
But first of all, how old are you? When were you born?
I'm 22. Just turned 22 in April. So I was born in 2003, which is like around Guatemalan Persuader time period, which is the best.
You can relate your age to a release of a ski movie.
Yeah. We literally just watched that the other day here at Hood, because my good friend Barkley, biggest ski fan ever, he's never seen it before, so just got a fresh watch.
No way.
Yeah.
I hope he loved it.
It was epic. All right, so 2003. Tell us
born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
And is that east, west, middle of Pennsylvania, or because
central?
It's all different, right?
Central Pennsylvania. Yep. I'm like right near the city of Harrisburg, which is the capital of Pennsylvania, and I'm like 3 hours from Pittsburgh to the west, and like an hour to an hour and a half to Philadelphia on the east.
Okay.
And there's a lot of Amish in between both. So, and I grew up.
You got any siblings, or do you have both parents growing up?
No siblings, both parents.
Okay.
And my parents are still together, and they still live in Pennsylvania.
Do you grow up close to skiing at all?
Yeah, my mom was working at the ski resort. That she's still working there. She's been there like 20 years, and it's called Round Top. Super small, but Round Top Riders was there, like Steve Stepp and Tom Wallish. But
yeah, you got an original fucking hardcore crew from that area as a very little kid.
Yeah, and then I'm like pretty close to Big Boulder, and when I was growing up, it was like in its peak, like super sick, full mountain of rails and jumps. So that was cool to grow up around. But I was always heavily into skating growing up.
Tell Iberg what your dad did for work too, while we're talking about what your mom did for work.
Oh yeah, my dad was he was in the Marines for over 30 years, but he was also in the DEA in Harrisburg when I was growing up. Now he's like head of security of all the medical marijuana dispensaries in Pennsylvania for growing and processing. So he's transitioned a bit.
DEA.
I would say it.
So epic.
Yeah. It's got to be so wild to persecute someone and then control the legal existence of it. Fun.
Yeah, but he's got some cool friends from it. who are sick homies, so that's fire.
No, I'm
But,
sure. I just said it's a whole different lifestyle, right? I've never met
Oh, yeah.
anyone at things, so already you're doing just stuff I can't relate to, and I've never had a conversation with anyone in it. So
Yeah, and I remember growing up, I'd, like, after school, he'd pick me up or something and be like, I gotta go, like, check on this car or go, like, do, like, some light surveillance. So
was he a person like growing up? Did you ever feel like your dad's life was in danger? Like, because I've never talked to anyone whose dad was a cop or a DA or anything, but like, is there anything where you have that feeling?
I'm not sure because he keeps it all pretty under wraps, but I would assume when he's like out there, he's somewhat in danger or like, but I don't know.
But it wasn't a thought growing up, Dad, because if your dad was a uniform officer,
Yeah,
when Dad goes to work, everyone knows he's going to work. You know what I mean?
for sure. Yeah, I don't think it was like a big thought in my head, but I was kind of unaware probably. But I do remember like I played football growing up, and we'd have like away games like fully in the city or like in other parts of the town. And one time, like, someone called him out and was like, "Yo, what up?" and like exposed him. And it was like someone he was like had arrested and was working with to like get intel from.
Oh,
And it was super fried. But
and you were in the game though during the time when this was happening.
yeah,
Okay.
and my dad is like the informant is like in the stands just like all hyped to see.
Yeah, that
my
had to be
dad
so
and
wild.
doesn't
He's
know
in the
what's going on.
visiting stand. Someone calls him out. He instantly became everyone's least friend.
Yeah, I don't know if he like knew the situation or what, but
He knew it.
Yeah.
He's a professional.
no, the other guy. The other
Okay.
guy's just like some drug dealer guy.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Well, no one else has had that story on the show, so that's original. So you have, I'm guessing, skiing from as early on if your mom works at the ski hill. So winter times is only 3.5 months long. You get into skateboarding super early.
Not super early. I think I was always interested in it because it was just big when I was growing up, like on TV, and it was like a cool thing going on. But I transferred schools in middle school, and like a bunch of kids in like my homeroom class skated, and that's how I got like into it. And then like I kind of knew them from like skiing and would film them snowboarding, but then we like would just hang out all summer and film skating. And then eventually when I was like 13 or 14, they built a skate park like in the city, and I met like everyone in the scene, and we'd just be skating, take the train to Philly and New York, and then drive down to like DC and Baltimore. So pretty
All when
good
you're like
spot
13, 14 with friends?
Yeah, like between 13 and 17, just like going to all those cities
Because that's a pretty
Like,
big mission for kids to
every
go
weekend.
on. Thing.
Yeah, but it's only like it's all within 2 hours, so it's like pretty good.
I'm just saying, as a Midwest kid,
Yeah, true.
I didn't leave my bubble. You know, like if
Yeah.
someone went into the city in a 10-minute drive from my suburb, it was like a big deal. So, you know, so to hear how you could move, maybe it's just different, but I've never talked to anyone in the East Coast that was young.
Yeah, I think it was just like the older homies at the skate park would be going to a different city each weekend to go skate. We would tag along, and I would film, and yeah, we.
How did you end up being the filmer?
I was just always like into taking photos. I started mainly in photos, and then like started filming, and then would film like football and basketball for my high school and kind of get out of like my classes and just be able to chill more. So that was sick.
That is sick.
So when did so you're already skating at 13, and then you have Round Top growing up. So you, in single digit age, you had some pretty dope influences, I would assume, that you saw or heard about that came from your spot.
For sure. And then like
I
when I
think
was
they're
like
all out.
around,
I was going to say, I think they all moved out around 2009, right? When you're about
yeah,
7.
but they left like a good impression on like the people that were there, like Ryan Barrick and all his friends, Derek Simpson. So there was a lot of people around like carrying the energy.
So did you get super stoked on twin tip skiing before skateboarding? Or did it come like
No,
mixed
because
together
I was
later?
definitely filming like skating, like mainly, and just like skiing, like being dumb. And then I would like film skating and then film my friend's snowboard, and like was way more into filming snowboarding. And then like it just transitioned well to film skiing because I just had more opportunities to like see other places with it. Because all my
Why do you
friends,
think you liked why do you think you liked filming snowboarding more than skateboarding? What was your difference?
I don't think I liked it more. I think it just like was what we were doing, and my friends were getting better at snowboarding, maybe starting to get sponsored for snowboarding comparatively to skating, which was like they built a park, but it still just like wasn't. I don't know. There wasn't like anyone coming to our city to skate. But
So you
growing
editing
up,
as well as taking photos and videos?
editing like the video,
Yeah.
yeah, I was, and we would have like
When did you
premieres.
make your first edit?
Uh, when I was probably like 12 or 13.
What was it?
I don't know. Let me check what's on my YouTube first.
Yeah, we gotta see this. And he was mentioning that they would do. I mean, I'll let you tell the story, but he's been big on the promo since day one. So they were doing some cool shit even as kids.
On my YouTube, at least, I got skate clips from 8 years ago. And the edit's just called skate clips, and it's like my friend's garage and driveway. So, and then the next edit is Woodward snowboard. Sorry,
You're
Rick's
back.
Wi-Fi is pretty bunk, but
The next edit was a Woodward one.
yeah, because I had like won a GoPro contest, just like entered randomly to go to Woodward, and I ended up winning. Sorry, is it connected?
Yeah, you're connected. It's catching
Okay.
up, but we could hear that. So, and also Woodward is like, this is important for your story. So Woodward's like pretty close to where you live, right?
Yeah, it's an hour and a half. And like growing up, we would always hear about it and be like, oh, like, and the Woodward show was popping at the time. So we were like, we gotta go. And it was before they had like any of the Park City ones or like any of the other locations. It was like the one. And
You
it
know
was
about
super
this reality show they did, Ethan?
Yeah, I watched it when I was a kid. It was awesome.
Man, like as a producer, it looks like the worst concept ever to film underage kids at all times. Like it's something I would never like I just looked at that as, and I think there was repercussions and they had to stop for some reasons, but that's what my memory was as an old person.
Didn't some of those kids go on to be like famous, well-known skaters,
Oh, yeah.
BMX kids though?
Yeah, like Zion Wright, Alex Midler, and like all those kids are pretty much like big pros in the scene now. So
And also, it was like kind of a thing within the skate world. Like Ryan Sheckler had a show as a kid. Like Rob Dyrdek obviously had a show. Like skating has just always done reality shows really well.
I know, but it wasn't ones where their names weren't the headliner. You know what I mean? It was a corporation. It was a Woodward show.
Yeah,
It wasn't those individual kids' names at the time. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's just interesting when you look at it in television production reasons.
yeah.
You know, like that's the only reason I bring it up. But it was dope as fuck when I did watch it. But then I was wondering, like, when they're like having a conversation, like, oh, you're going to go talk to that girl? I'm like, oh man, I don't know if that should be on TV for a 13-year-old camper kid having an experience like that because he's a no-namer. And it's too much information for everyone outside of that world.
Well, I'll tell you this: because of all the extra drama stuff, my sisters love that show, and they wouldn't have loved it if it was just a bunch of kids skating. They
I'll
want the
agree
drama.
8,000,000%, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm only talking morals, and they're my
Yeah.
personal ones, maybe. But
Like,
whatever.
yeah, if you
So I want to know how you won this GoPro contest. Like, what did you make that was so epic where they were like, fuck yeah, you win because it has to be.
I didn't really make anything epic. They just had like this app that they were trying to push at the time, like a quick editing app for GoPro or something. I just happened to see it and I was like, fuck it, like we'll go to the skate park and just make something. And then like 2 or 3 months later, I was just like chilling and got the most like random DM that I won, and I thought it was fake as fuck. And then they're like, "Nah, like you won, you can come." And I was like, "Word, easy, I'll be there." And then I went like Ty Evans had like a pro session week for the film camp, so I went for the film camp, and when I was there, like got pretty tapped in and made a good impression, and then like won like a free trip to LA to film with Ty Evans and this other guy JP.
How old are you at
like,
this time?
I'm like 14 or 15, not old enough to drive.
So first of all, are you stoked when you win the contest to get to go to Woodward because you've been talking about it, or are you as nonchalant as how you tell me?
No. I was super stoked and like got to go and film with all my friends, so that was awesome.
Because that's young to win a prize that big. Like that shit costs a lot of money to go to that camp. There's probably a reason why you didn't get to go, right?
Yeah, well, and my parents were just like down and supportive of me going, so that was good. And
So you go there, and then you get to meet all these things, get more like stoked because someone else is filming and editing and has tools to teach you. And now they say you get to go to LA. So that has to be fucking awesome. Have you ever flown on an airplane at this point?
yeah, I had done a lot of traveling within the U.S. with my family.
Okay.
But yeah, they had like the shot over camera, which is like the helicopter camera, but they just had it like on the skate van. So that was pretty interesting and got to like use it at Woodward. And then when I went to LA, that's what I was shooting on. And like the vision was just like they bring me to LA and I make like the sickest video I can with like 5 days. So, and they like fully taught me how to use it and use reds and everything. So that's how I got into like more production level stuff.
Were you the only filmer there? Like, was it like a group of kids shooting, or was it like, okay, this is the E-Cook trip and it's only him?
No, it was like a group of like 20 at Woodward for the film camp.
Okay, sick.
Because it was like digital media camp. Like there's a photography side and a video side. And yeah, there's like a whole video online of like the whole week of camp and like all the kids and me like using the camera, and then like they announce it at the end, and then they film me like going to LA and everything.
How, looking back now in retrospect, how big was you getting that opportunity for what you do today? Did it open doors?
Oh yeah, it opened like all the doors and just like the mental door to understand that I could like do anything I want, kind of.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting, and I'm still like well connected with Ty and JP both, and it's great. And they have like connections all over the world, and Ty Evans has shot like the most legendary skate videos ever, and JP's like shooting all the Apple like home screen campaigns and like the biggest. He's like the best heli cam operator in the world in like aviation.
They must be so stoked on what you're doing.
Beyond me, but Sorry?
They must be so stoked on what you're doing these days, like because
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure 90% of those kid filmers quit. You know, they probably just
Yeah.
went to get
But
normal
like
jobs.
when I called them when I was starting like the studio event space, they were like super stoked and are gonna come and check it out this summer. So that's great.
So you're 15, you get all these experiences, you go back to Pennsylvania. You're just starting high school and you're like a god. Like you just went and filmed with $1 million cameras and lenses, like went to LA. You know,
Yeah,
people
but I feel like no one at my school is like understanding of what
no, they
that
don't have to. You
entails,
understand
you
it.
know? Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like you came back and you're like, all right. So now what is a motivation? Because before everything else was bigger than you. Woodward, everyone was already doper than the people you rode with. LA, everyone's doper than anyone you ever filmed with. And so, you know, now you go back, what's your motivation? Do you want to create something? Do you look for.
Yeah, create something and just like use the connections I have to kind of like put my friends on and make sick projects and like go from there. But it also like through all that, then Woodward just gave me like free summer camp all summer to just go and like hang out at digital media. So then I would go out there for like 10 weeks out of the summer and just like hang out and film projects and just like meet the pros that were there each week. So I got like pretty tapped into like the skate scene at that point. And the motivation, I guess, was just like get through high school to whatever extent I could and just move somewhat west, if that's Colorado or Utah or California, and just keep filming.
What was your favorite in that time period, the favorite edit you made?
Probably this one called Sixth Sense. I feel like it still like holds up.
What
But
is
it's
it?
pretty. It's a snowboard video from Round Top, and it was just all my homies. But there was also a skate project like a few years later that like definitely holds up called Mad Fun, and that was just like a sick time in my life. That was when I started being able to drive, though. I was like 16 and 17. So,
When did you guys do premieres and stuff? Like when
oh
did you
yeah.
start doing those? Because that is such a sick thing for a teenager to do.
I think my first premiere had to be like 14 or 15 at our local skate shop, Fantastic. And it was my snowboard video. And then I remember having like, I made a project, Last Love, which was like cliff jumping and skiing. And I don't know, just life. And we premiered at like a park and like 100 people came. And then the final skate video I made in Pennsylvania, Mad Fun, was at like a pretty sick spot, like a recording studio in the city. And a bunch of people showed up. And that was just a good experience.
So outside of Woodward, because I think Woodward, it's like a training facility for you, right? Because you can mass film stuff, have different ideas all the time. But like when you have to create something on your own outside of that element, what was it that like? Because it doesn't sound like it was like, fuck, I want to make the dopest ski edit with my friends, or it seems like it's everything. So like when you're making an edit or a movie or whatever you want to call it that you want to premiere and get people together and see it, what's your goal? Is it just my friends do dope shit and I want to capture it a dope way? Or do you have any other vision? That's because you're not making a ski movie, you're not making a snowboard movie, you're not making a cliff diving movie. You're obviously making a new vibe and then premiering it, say, at a snowboard shop. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was mainly just like capturing, the initial base level of like what action sport it would be, but then also just showing like the lifestyle or what we're doing with our life outside of that and bringing it all together. Because I think that's like the most interesting thing. Like, I don't know, there's so many skate videos, but not a lot that like have the memories from when you were 16 and like the things you're doing. Because now we watch it and we're like, yo, that's sick that like we had that whole summer captured. And I think it was mainly just like to have a good time capsule of everything we were doing.
So all the stuff that you made outside of Woodward's was your friend group?
Yeah.
Okay.
My friend group mainly. I do some like other stuff, and then like as I mentioned, just like the sports at my high school, because I was super into sports and filming and just like getting out of class. So that was nice. And it like built my social credit pretty good to like be filming sick edits and getting everyone on the football team hyped. And
I bet, dude. I got so
also
stoked on your era was the first generation where I saw it. Say like high school hockey in Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if someone made a fucking edit. It's bigger than an NHL team. You know, like of them going into the stands. And I'd always bug out. I'm like, why doesn't anyone do this? And photographers were the first guys to do it. But they started to do like flaming pucks or something during their team shoots. It's like, that's ill. But now at like your generation, that's the exact time period. Like it's all of a sudden everyone started making the dopest highlight reels. And now it goes down to like fucking second graders have the dopest fucking edits you've ever seen because their dads are fucking like, let me make you the ill shit. But yeah, you're at a very fun time because there's so many ways to make creative videos. And we only watch football on television format visually or NFL films. You know, like if you remember these, but that was only two ways you ever got to watch one sport that that in so many ways.
And I think I was just at like a perfect age growing up where like social media, like Instagram, wasn't big or like prominent the way it is now, but YouTube was like a big new platform where you could like see all these videos from like other people's lives and stuff, but not on TV, like you mentioned. And I think that's why it was such like a good time to be making just like random edits of whatever. And then sports, of course. And all of it would do pretty well on YouTube just because at that point, like the algorithms were so good and there wasn't much else on there compared
and
to
you
now.
had the privilege where old people, say 2014, 13 to 17, every old person was like, put a video on Facebook because it had fake numbers, right? It would play automatically on the feed at the time for those 2 years. And every old person, everyone was just like, that's where the numbers are for your company, for your videos, for whatever. And I just look at it, I'm like, don't you guys see it's fake? Like, there's no way like that this many people care about our fucking sport. And so it's fun because I went to the angle where I created a video player with new schoolers for a niche of a niche of a niche. So we could like pre-sell ads for 100% consumer of the sport of skiing. But you're not like, as a kid, you're like, wow, well, YouTube gives me what I want. That's fun.
Yeah.
Never looked at it
definitely,
from a younger
but
angle.
it's kind of like sad to see how things are transitioning onto just like 5 to 15 second Instagram reel content overwhelmingness.
I think it just needs to have a new video platform. So it's like when new schoolers, say in 2014, built their own video player, you know, instead of thinking that you need a reach beyond the people you can already touch that care about it. Because imagine like if we release, let's use Phil's edit because you're with him, keynote skier, right? If you can control, like say his video got 300,000 views, that was probably super fans that watched it 40 times. You know, and so that's okay though, because that means they're going to consume the person, the media that they create in the future, the products they create, and then you hyper focus the people that care. Now it sucks if you're the artistic guy that wants to put skiing in an abstract way, but then you have Vimeo, you know, and then you can like get seen at a high level with a better video player. But if you're just putting out like something that needs a more long-term format for a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche, you need to only give that to people that care. Just like this podcast, right? We know
sure.
that like everyone who listens to it is going to spend 4 hours listening to each fucking episode. Do you know how many people dream of having a consumer have an attention span of 4 hours to their product? If we were bigger, people would be like, no fucking way. But the fact is, 100% of our consumer wants to consume 100% of us.
All of it, yeah.
And so, like, I think that's the only way if you're creating and these
Sure.
action sports is put it on a platform where it's not people that just are scrolling to watch a kid land on his head that he doesn't know. Scroll up, see the best skier in the world that has a big name of 40 years. Scroll to the next, it's wasteful. All right, I'm going to done.
No, I agree. I try to keep it on YouTube,
Yeah.
because that's at least where I think the roots are, because that's what I grew up with. So,
and it's where your fans will find you because that's where they know that you put it out, right? So you're not diluted.
We're getting Rick's Granson.
It just ricks your ass.
Hold up. We'll let it catch up. It goes in and out, but we can persevere. There we go. Dude, while we're talking about the football era of your life, tell Albert the story, dude.
Yeah, I was filming a football game, and like this kid in my neighborhood growing up, who I had known for a while, but I'm not really like good friends with him at the time. And he was meant to give me a ride home. And then after the game, I come out and I like meet up with him, and he's like, all right, bro, we got to go. Like, some shit's going down. I'm like, word, like, I don't know what the fuck that means, but yeah, I'll go with you. And then like we're leaving the gate, and he just chucks a glass bottle at this kid's head. I'm like, yo. And he just takes off running, and he's like, yo, come on. And I start running, and I like bail the one direction, and I just get cornered and just get like jumped by like 20 kids. I didn't get like stomped in, like probably like 3 of them like jumped me, but there was like a crowd. And I just woke up in an ambulance and was like, what the fuck? And then like figured out later that the story was that kid who was driving me home was like dating a girl from the other school, and a kid from the other school was also dating that girl, the one he threw the bottle at, I guess. And they were just like beefing the whole game, like sending each other messages, whatever. But that was a pretty bad scene. But then my football team had my back and like went to the opposing school or like town and like tried to fight a few of those kids, but I don't think much.
The only person that needs to be fought is the homie that fucking was giving you a ride home. That's the bit.
I know it is.
No, fuck this homie.
That's funny. That's funny. I just wanted to share that because on the last episode E-Cook and I did, he was like, "Oh, I'll save a story for next time," and now it's next time. That story is crazy, but it shows that they had the filmers back. Your football team, they had you.
Yeah.
High school football, man, for life.
Yeah, I mean, where I grew up, sports are like one of the only things going on, so it's life out there.
No, same here. Like it's like if you're on a team sport, like that team has your back. So it's pretty fun when you get to be around that situation in life.
Yeah, but I feel like what I've learned about people in skiing is they don't have normal backgrounds at all, and they've only been in like skiing and ski comps, and they're like, what do you mean like you're gonna go watch the football game? Or like, I don't know, like Edjoy, I'm like, yeah bro, like the Bills are playing the Pats tonight, like gotta go watch this game. And like it's playoffs. I'm just using those teams as an example. And he's like, man, like I never watched this in my life, but like I'll come with you. And then like he comes, watches, gets some wings and beers with me, and then he's like, I understand. And like I come back to Quebec like 3 weeks later, and he's like, go Bills, go Birds, like just hyped on every NFL team.
See, I grew up when all the kids were so angry at team sports when we started this whole thing, and they were like, "I fucking hate team sports. Coach telling me what to do," and so it was like such an anger at the beginning of our sport. Like, so if I'd be like, "Oh, I love baseball," and like Boyd Easley was the only person that he would like throw a baseball with me at the soccer field at the ski areas we lived at. But other than that, it was such a funny hate. And then like even like the guys who were like in high school sports, like the basketball players, they were like, "I'm going to learn how to skateboard." And I'm like, wouldn't it be more fun to play a game of pig or something? Probably won't break our ankles. But yeah, a little different. Okay, so you're doing your own thing. You're creating events. You are filming all different sports. You're with your friends. Do you have any outside influence at these last 2 years of high school where you're watching a bunch of ski movies, snowboard movies, skateboard movies, or things or individuals that outside of your circle that you think are the shit?
In terms of influences, I was probably just like watching whatever my homies in Pennsylvania were making, and then all of Ty Evans' stuff, and probably like whatever Vans and Adidas was putting out, and just like the skate videos of the time. But I knew nothing about ski videos outside of X Games, and all I knew about X Games really was just Henrik, because I was just like, yo, this guy's like the shit.
How? If you
Him
have
and
no
Sean
care
White.
outside X Games, how does Henrik come into your world?
Henrik comes into my world. Like,
You know
how
what I
did
mean?
I
Like if
know
you're
him?
not
as a
talking
fan,
anyone
yeah.
else,
As a fan.
he's the only name you just brought up, and you say you don't watch ski movies or shit. So how is it Henrik?
Because I was watching X Games on TV, like on ESPN, and that's when he was like peaking and just like on his shit. Same with like Sean White, and I was like, these guys are sick. And Sean White was like going to both X Games and like skating in the summer, and I was like, sick. So, yeah.
Okay,
Henrik.
so you're graduating high school. You made it through. That's all you wanted to do. You want to go west. What are you thinking when you graduate high school?
Well, yeah, my high school experience got like super fucking weird because of COVID kind of took over like the last 2 years of high school. So when COVID started and I had like an option to do online school, I just took it and went to Utah, and my homie Tyson Osowski just like offered that I can stay on his couch as long as I want if I film him. So I took it.
So what? This is 2020 in the spring. You went.
Yeah, in the spring.
So COVID's breakout's killing everyone. It's fucking gnarly. People are locked down. How do your mom and dad be like, you can drive across the country and hopefully not catch the flu that will kill you on your way to Utah?
I don't think my dad ever believed in it.
Okay,
And
so let's pretend
so
COVID
that
doesn't
kind of
exist.
set the scene.
How do parents feel comfortable with letting their 17, 18-year-old that's a junior in high school move to a foreign state they've never been to and post on a friend's couch?
Because I had all those experiences of Woodward and being away for a while and kind of gained their trust, and they saw what I was doing, and I'm sure they like messaged with JP or Ty to like get some perspective of he's wants to move out towards the west, like is that the right thing to be doing? And they just had met a lot of people in my life that were also like going to Salt Lake at that time, because the kids like a year older than me that were skiing at the time had already moved to Salt Lake at that point and started going to like school there and stuff. So
Okay.
I don't know.
See,
And I
that all
think it
makes
was just like
sense.
a Hail Mary for them. They're like, online school, COVID, like, you can't do worse with your life, really. Like, you can go down to our safety net of life, but that's about it, I guess.
I can't imagine having a kid in that time period with COVID. Like at least with mine, it was like a daycare and a first grader, and we were
Yeah.
like, "Wee!" And then my community just gave every kid an iPad,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "What? Why is everyone okay with this?" And then they just made it too easy. But if you were like 16, 17, and they just gave you an iPad, if you are lucky enough from that community, it was a full shutdown for those age kids, man.
Well, yeah, and like I just remember like everything would be closed. Like our resort was closed. So we would just be like, I mean, like closed, not as in like closed for the season, like closed and no one is even like working there, like driving trucks around, like making sure things are good. It's like closed and abandoned feeling. It's like
So what
everywhere.
does a 17-year-old feel when all this weird shit's going on? Because I know how I felt as
We were
myself.
hyped. We were hyped because like it didn't really like, I don't know. It probably impacted my parents and our parents financially, but like when you're that age, you either have a job and are making like very little money, or you're just like on your parents, I feel like. And I was working at a camera studio at the time, like have an internship, getting hours in. So I was making some money, but I don't know. We were just hyped to go explore and do random shit and blow shit up at our ski resort and kind of fuck off. It was sick.
Well, that's
And
nice you
like
could
not
get
be in
out.
school. So
I just remember like kids like would get in trouble. I'd like drive by a school and see like high schoolers like make circles with their cars and back them up, and then they were all like hanging out and talking to each other. And I was like, wow, that's your social relationships. And I was like, not often. Then cops would come and tell them to go home. And I was like,
yeah.
oh, man, that'd be the
No,
worst
I
ever.
think Pennsylvania, like outside of at least the city areas, like it was pretty like do at your own risk. Like I mean, it would change like daily, kind of like they'd always have some new CDC protocol of what to do, but we kind of just like would run it up. I remember
And you
like
were surrounded by the Amish too, who didn't give a fuck anyway. So
yeah, and I remember like my best friend Ben, his parents are like strict on COVID, and like we're scared. But I was like, Ben, fuck that. Like, we're if we get it, we get it. Like, let's just have fun. And I remember his parents would let him out like one day a week and tell him to like drive a separate car and stuff. But we would just like, I don't know. We were putting people at risk maybe of something because we were just wilding at that time.
Stoked you made it. Give thanks for
Yeah.
life. Okay,
But
so you moved to
yeah, then I
Utah
moved to
during
Salt Lake.
COVID to sleep on a friend's house in Salt Lake City, Utah. You're 17?
Yep, 17. Had my 18th birthday in Salt Lake in April.
And you're a junior in high school, technically, at this time. You're just finishing your junior year. You didn't
I
graduate.
might. I think when I moved to Salt Lake for that winter, I had finished my junior year to whatever extent, and then just like fully went online my senior year. So,
Okay. So what are you doing when you get out to the couch?
what am I doing?
Yeah, like you can't get a job during COVID, I'm guessing. You just hiking some
No,
mountain.
but like I don't know. What was I doing? I think I just had some money saved up at the time from working in the summer at the camera studio I was at, and then Ty Snowsowski just was helping me out. He had an air fryer and would just go to Costco and like buy like so much air fryable food. And at
I
the
love
time, I
pot
was like,
stickers.
yeah, I was like this is awesome, and could just eat as much as I want. And he was stoked. So, and I was Mill Bastard intern, so that was good.
Tell them about the Mill Bastards, because I'm not sure Iberg's familiar.
Not at all.
Oh, that's like OSAP's like homie crew from Salt Lake. Well, they're from Steamboat because they all went to like school together, and it was like Steamboat Boys or something like that. And then it turned into Mill Bastards. And yeah, it's like Reese Rule, Pigeon, Gucci Logan, OSAP filming mainly.
And so what is that?
And
What are you
there's more.
interning for? What do they do?
It was like, it wasn't a real internship, but just like I would go and film second angle for OSAP and get hazed by Reese and Pigeon. And then Ty was filming with Mill Bastard, so if I was filming him, I was getting to stay on the couch, so it was good.
Is
And-
this all skiing?
Yeah, all skiing.
Okay. Now this
And-
isn't until next winter, so you have a whole summer in Utah and a whole fall.
Well, I went back to Pennsylvania to graduate,
Okay.
work more at the camera studio, go to senior week for like at the beach in Ocean City, Maryland, and just get drunk, kind of, and then prom, and then by August drive out to Salt Lake. And on my way, I had met Lupe the season before because I helped him film on his reel ski, and he was like, yeah, pull up to Copper on your way out. Like, I'm out here doing a pro session. And I did. And that's how I met Quinn Wolferman. And yeah, we filmed and then went to Salt Lake from there. And then like moved there.
So Lupe, you filmed during your senior
this is
year.
important.
What's that?
I was gonna say this is important. This is an important stepping stone. So also another wrinkle in the Mill Bastards thing is that like Ryan Barrick, who Ethan knew growing up, was also friends with those kids. So it was like,
Yes.
so he gets out there and he's filming a homie group of friends, and then they're friends with another dude named Lupe, who actually grew up at.
I think we need to rewind. Yeah,
home
Lupe
resort.
is my interesting one because, like, how did you said the season before? So your senior year in high school, you are Lupe's cameraman for his real ski segment.
Yeah. I was like, because I had. Okay, yeah. So the real timeline, I guess, would be before I went to Salt Lake, I was in Pennsylvania. It snowed, and Lupe was filming his real ski. And Ryan Barrick was helping, like, just shovel and get clips with Lupe. And OSAP was the filmer, and he came to my local high school to hit a spot. And I met up with him because Ryan Barrick invited me. I met up with Lupe, OSAP, Tom Wallish, and AJ. They're all at the school. And I shot a photo for Lupe at that spot. And then he's like, yo, like, sick photos. Like, if you want to come up with us, we're going to go to New Hampshire and Connecticut for, like, the next week. And it's, like, Christmas Day. And I was just like, yeah, I'm down. And I called my mom and was like, I'm not going to be home for Christmas. I'm going to go up there and do it. So I met all them. And then, yeah, then went to Salt Lake after
So were you
that.
a cameraman though? Like, did you do film or after? Because you took still photos the first session.
Yeah,
Did you end up
I took
shooting
a bunch
video?
of photos and, like, second angles. So,
Okay. Did he medal that year?
no,
Okay.
he didn't medal.
That was the Tanner real ski year.
Yeah,
All right, so you meet Lupe. Lupe was like a linchpin because he put you on to
yeah, and OSAP.
Yeah, Lupe and OSAP really set things off in the ski community. So from there, Lupe's like, yo, I'm doing a camp at Copper. You should pull up.
Okay, yeah. Lupe was having his summer camp around the same time I was driving out to Salt Lake. And Copper was like on my way. So I stopped in there for like 2 days, chilled at the camp, met Quinn and liked his energy, and we would go up after the camp closed each day and like film at sunset. And we made like an edit and just bonded at that time. So that was good.
So 21 now, 2021 summer. And now all of a sudden you're moving out to Utah. You already have a link with Lupe. You kind of, I don't know, get a sync with a homie right away, like in the summertime before a season with Quinn, right? So where's Quinn live?
Quinn's living in Park City at the time.
Okay, so you go, where are you living when you go to Utah that summer?
When I go to Salt Lake,
fuck. Yes, when you go to Salt Lake, where are you living?
When I went back to Salt Lake, I lived at the same house. I had the couch, but
So you got now a whole end of summer and fall time to think. What are you making up in your head that you're going to do with the camera and editing and new people that you're around? Like, do you have a plan right away? Like, do you meet Quinn and you're like, yo, let's make an edit this winter? Or do you like...
Yeah. We made a plan to make something, and he ended up taking me to X Games. But I feel like I had met like Jed and some other boys this season, like Jed and Caden, like the original Hazard people, the spring before, when I like tested out Salt Lake kind of. So then we had the plan to like film a project, which we did, which was called Catalyst, and that was towards Hazard. We like went to Michigan, and yeah, that was fun. So we were working on that a lot. I went to X Games with Quinn. I was just kind of meeting everyone. Quinn won X Games Knuckle Huck that year, and we put out like a video, and then Armada was stoked on it, and Corey invited me out to Armada Week in Clappen in Sweden, and it was like my first time going to Europe, so that was like a big thing. And met literally everyone at that week and X Games. So
now you have a Quinn. So now you have a edit with Quinn, edit with your homies that you had a plan. Went to X Games, met everyone. Went to Armada Week, clapping at Kimbo sessions, meet everyone. So this is a crazy first year. So you all of a sudden got the links with Are you still there? Maybe.
No, it died. This is really giving me a run here.
All right. So you meet everyone, and now you're going into the spring, right? It's like May or June, and you're back.
Yeah.
You got to have so many ideas or have so many conversations with people about what's possible or what you could do or what would be fun to do. So like at this...
Yeah, kind of what would be fun to do was like...
What was it for you then after that season?
Then got linked up with B-Dog, and he hooked me up and took me out to Hood for like 2 or 3 weeks. And we filmed an edit with him, Sammy, Torin, Walker, and I don't know, kind of just whoever on Armada was out there just skiing at the time. So that was a good one, fun one to start things off with Armada. And then after that, it's like almost fall time. Had been talking to Henrik a lot after Clappen Week. And he's like, yo, come to New Zealand with the Harlow team. So I did. It was him and Noah and V. And we had a sick trip there. And went to JWI and met like another group of everyone. And that was cool.
So is that your intro to the Monster people, or because you do a bunch of stuff with Monster as well as Armada, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least like their team of athletes and Capiche, Armada, Monster, kind of.
So is that New Zealand trip where you kind of like that's a monster thing, right? With
No, that was just Barlow Apparel.
No, but you went to JW Jossie Wells
Yeah,
Invitational right after,
that's a
right?
monster event.
So that's
Yeah.
what I was kind of thinking, where you'd go meet just everyone, Bishop's there, fucking the whole
Bishop, Ed Joy, yeah, everyone, Jossie, of course. But I had met Ed Joy at X Games because that's like big monster territory there too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So at this
I
point,
don't
like,
know.
are
I was
these
just meeting
jobs
everyone. Is
like
there
going
jobs?
into the season now? Like after you do Armada stuff, you're like kind of meeting the monster guys. Do you have jobs for the season, or are you still trying to come up with fun ideas with friends and just see how to create them?
I think it was like another season of fun ideas and how to create them. Because then I filmed Gusto, which was like all the main Hazard members plus Ed Joy and Danny had like the opening segment. And then I did like X Games again and like started going to all the events and like making my name around then. So
As a camera guy that's known Edjoy a while, what is your opinion on him as a skier? I'm a super fan, and I don't comprehend why I can't see enough of him when I talk with him, and he explains it, but it doesn't make sense to me. So, from your perspective as a young person, what is Edjoy? Because I think he's special, but that's all I know.
yeah, I mean, I have to agree. He's the most special. I think him and Danny are just like on a wave I want to ride. So, but
But what makes him
no,
special in your eyes as a young person? Like when you see him and get a film with him and work with him, what is
that
it?
he's so passionate. Like that's why he's not on Instagram is because he's so passionate about skiing. He doesn't need to show anyone that he's skiing because he just wants to ski and enjoy it and love it. Or film, like he's so passionate about filming, but actually making it a worthwhile project to have tangible at the end of the day.
Will he ever give us a project that can blow our minds like we know he can? Will he ever
Yes.
give that out of the vault? Because I know he's got a computer full.
Yeah, I think he will. Multiple. I think he's just getting started. I know he talks highly about these next 4 years as like his window. So
Awesome.
I bet he's about to get on it. And he's been on it these past 2 years towards the Capiche movie that we've been working on. So
When's this movie come out?
this is a 2-year project coming out in the fall.
Fall of this fall, so fall
Yeah.
of 2025. So your episode will come out probably like the third week in October. So it's probably
Okay.
coming out right around now or later.
Oh, like now as in
Yeah,
October?
when this episode
Yeah.
airs. Is the movie out?
Yeah. This movie is premiering and probably out.
I
And
think
then
you
the
guys
Armada
gonna
movie, it might be like the day of the premiere right now for the Armada movie.
dope. Big two movies. Is the Capiche movie going to tour?
Yeah,
Nice.
it'll go to every skier's hometown or like where
Okay.
they live for a premiere.
Seems
So
like
like
the right
Salt
way to
Lake,
do it.
Quebec, Oslo, Austria, maybe Japan. I don't know. They're doing a lot of stops.
Edjoy, Quebec, right?
Yep.
Will he do Montreal, Quebec City, Three Rivers, or Shawinigan?
He'll do Montreal.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah. I mean, he could do Shall We with Phil or something. We'll see.
Who knows? Or he could do Quebec City with D-Structure. And then it's just going to be dope.
Yeah, for sure. But I know he wants to do Montreal for sure because he's been hanging out in the city there a lot and feeling the scene. So
that makes sense then. What else we got? Ethan, jump in.
I think so. Your first X Games was winter 22. Is that right?
That sounds right.
Okay,
Or,
so that
yeah,
I think
22.
I think that's the one. Actually, wait, no, that might have been 23 because nobody had. Did anybody have masks on at that point? Either way, the one.
It was a masked COVID,
Okay,
or
so
like a mask. It
22,
was
man.
the
I'm pretty
first.
positive of it from what the stories he's telling right now. Or
Yeah,
23, because I remember 23 when Henrik brought you to New Zealand was summer 23.
this would be my third X Games this past year, so
25, 24,
whatever that
23.
makes it.
Yeah. Anyways, that's where me and Ethan met for the first time on the knuckle, and I also met Jossie at the same time. I'm like, "What's up, Jossie? I'm Ethan." He goes, "I know, man. We just met," and he thought I was E-Cook. So that was my first encounter with E-Cook. That's
Wow.
sick. Okay, so that's when shit started popping for you, and
Yeah,
it was
a
getting
little
big.
bit.
You want to tell Iberg about the Hazard Crew and like what you guys have been doing with that? Because I think that is also like the first thing I saw that was like
I
original.
do. Name all their names again, because you brought them up a couple of times now, and I thought I recognized one of your
Yeah.
slang nicknames, but go for
Okay,
that. What is
so
Hazard Crew and who is it?
the original Hazard Crew is Jed Blue Waters, Caden Wood, Liam Baxter, or like Lemur, and our homies Jai and Bren, who were like in it at the time.
And these are all transplants in Salt Lake that get together and form a crew.
Yeah, it's like, but two of them went to Y East together, Jed and Caden, and then Lemur met them at Hood one summer and is from Steamboat.
I know Caden's from Minnesota because I gave him an inspired hoodie when he was like 10. And
Yeah,
then I've followed him since he was little.
Didn't you guys have another crew before this?
Oh yeah, the pedestrians.
Yeah.
That was my Pennsylvania homies, who were going to like Westminster and had moved out there. And honestly, we made a really sick movie because it was like half Pennsylvania over Christmas break and then half in Utah. But I didn't have a car, and two of the other homies going to school didn't have a car. So we were the pedestrians because we would just take like public transportation with shovels and stuff, like Tom Wallish, but real.
Magnus would be proud.
Yeah, Magnus would be super stoked. 1,000 ski moment.
Did you guys do premieres for the pedestrian movies?
Yeah, we did. We opened for Mill Bastards.
Sick.
What was your theory as a kid or just any time period of why? Because I think a lot of people make products. So I use Zoot Space as an example. I always would talk to Patty Flanagan and I'd be like, dude, if you guys just traveled around the Midwest and did premieres at bars because you're all like in your early 20s, want to get fucked up, and then you just came with the entertainment, like you'd kill it. You'd make skiing cooler, you'd make some money, you'd like probably be able to do this longer. So I'm interested why you thought your art needed a premiere or a tour or multiple showings or to even show it, other than upload it just to YouTube.
Because it's such a strong thing to get people together and just like in a social setting outside of just the movie alone. And I think growing up, I would just have premieres for whatever I was making, snowboard or skate video, and then at Woodward each week of digital media camp at the end of the week you would like play your video. So I think it was just like a real way for you to interact with the crowd and like be in a social gathering and watching it together and sharing that experience is different than just posting it on YouTube, and everyone has their own experience with it.
Well, it is because it's a big art gallery, right, with one big screen to show your art.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why I never and luckily I grew up on the premiere idea because that was big. It's big for the athletes to celebrate their accomplishments. It's big for people to like sit down and actually focus and stare, especially when it got to be a movie theater and they'd listen to the audio work you would do.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you eliminate a theater, the audio work is wasteful. Like even at bars, you're like, oh man, you can't hear my left to right audio that I fucking sat in the fucking edit for 2 weeks, and like everyone's drunk and they're not all looking at one screen. God damn it. So it was really fun because I watched it degrade from movie theaters to bars to party to sideline entertainment to nothing. And it was all because the art wasn't being put on a platform. But that's why I think we'll get to it. But I'm stoked on what you do now because it's just like we surround ourselves by people that create art, and no one puts it on a platform, and they put it beside other stuff to either be judged or forgotten. When it's like, man, we're just creating that art for the passionate people. So.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting about your story, and I think I don't know, it's important to note, is like you had all this training and experience before you even came into skiing. Because with the way that your story's told, it's like, oh yeah, he came into the ski world and then blew up right away. But you came in with like all this experience and like pre-existing knowledge, and so people latched onto it right away when you showed up, because you weren't a noob. Like you were like just new to the ski scene, but you knew what you were doing at that point, though, at least technically with the cameras.
Yeah, and I think that had a major impact on just how fast I was able to get to like big places in skiing.
But the crew thing was it too, I'm going to point out, because like whether it was who referred you to Lupe, said, hey, meet up, that was in your crew that got you on that shoot, or people say pull up, you meet Quinn through Lupe saying pull up after you met him through a friend, you're on a couch, go film with your crew right away. So it's really about these crews and then like actually doing stuff, because once you go out and meet people, you meet more people, and once you're working hard. So like the reason why you gravitate towards Quinn probably is because he's a hard worker and you're a hard worker. He envisions something dope on skis. You envision something dope to capture what he envisions on skis, but you'll do it with your camera. So it's just like, it's a matter of actually meeting people rather than sending a resume. And it's a matter of doing things.
And it's all about like networking and connections is how I've made it anywhere in skiing and life. I feel like more than like technical like experience.
But you were blessed with the technical side, right?
Yeah.
Because you made the most of that opportunity. Like, a media center, a woodwork. So I remember like even Eric Rosenwald, the guy who helped build the Woodward Tahoe one. So this was like his whole dream was a media center, and like as much as everything. And so like the media center is like, man, this is where everyone can like, and this is 2011. You know, this is being built. And so he's like, this is where kids will be able to like put their heads together. This is where then the skate park opens and we do the premieres, and then the filmers and the cameramen can have as much shine as the kids that learned a trick. And I was just like, man, you're a perfect example of this, where you got to climb this awesome ladder of opportunity. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? There's another crew that makes videos in-house. There's GoPro out west. And then you get to meet someone because you actually work systems that you learned how to use at a camp. So dope.
Yeah, and I think like taking all those experiences and using them towards my future as just like, yeah, it's just inspiring to everything I'm doing now. Like having premieres when I was 13 gave me so much hype and perspective to be doing them now, I guess.
And I'll say that your perspective on shooting skate and snowboard, maybe in a majority, makes you not be like think what's cool or not cool on skiing just because you can think of something different and you're not comparing it to shit. You're just like,
and just like how I grew up is such a different perspective to have than a lot of people I'm filming and skiing who just grew up like strictly in like ski life kind of.
Yeah.
Did you go to college when you went out to Salt Lake, or you just moved out there to do your thing?
I went to like an online film college for 2 years to like, it was kind of to get a degree, but mainly to pay my rent, because if I was in school, like with my dad's military benefits, it would pay my rent. So that was nice.
Did you get anything out of those 2 years that benefited you in your career?
No, other than like just a perspective of what I would be doing if I maybe wasn't filming skiing, or like if I wasn't working hard. I guess I'd be like going to college with like people who are learning film when I'm like kind of already working with Henrik on films. So
And you're learning, like, rather than going to school to learn how to tell a story, you just make a story and then you learn it how to make it better after you produced it. And then you actually had an audience. Then you build an audience. So when you make your first project, people already know about you.
But I think if it was a in-person school, maybe I would have learned more, because I just didn't put much into it, and then I dropped out.
Well, I think that's like the most valuable thing to be gained from school is the people you meet. So like, especially like because we're pretty similar age, like schools push so hard. But if you gave up all the opportunities to go to these shoots because you're like, oh well, I have to go to class in person in Salt Lake City this week, that would have ruined your career before it even started because you're like getting all these opportunities and you're like, nope, got to go to school. But instead, it's like, no, I got to meet important people. Like that's really what the key of it is. Like
you're 22, you would have finals right now.
Yeah,
if you're at the U of U
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's the big differentiator, especially with film. It's like just go if you have the opportunity, just go do it. You know, you're not going to learn anything really valuable sitting in the classroom, especially if you want to film skiing. Like that should.
Yeah, and like with all the resources online now, it's like you should just be watching YouTube videos and whatever you can find that inspires you, and then making it happen however you can to go do it, you know.
And the last thing you need as a filmer too is a bunch of debt hanging over your head, because as a filmer, any job in media, there's going to be months where there's nothing happening. And so if you have some debt collector knocking on your door every month like, yo, you owe us money for school, like that's going to force you into a job that you don't want to take, you know, or like a full-time job because you just need to constantly have money.
Yeah.
Here's my question from watching some edits and looking at, do you look at your stuff like when you make it, however you make it, do you look at it more like a painting? Like, because it doesn't look like you're just putting out banger tricks to make it look like the illest shit. So like, do you give yourself the opinion that you're an artist, or do you look at it that you produce promotional production?
I think there's like two sides to my work.
Okay.
There's definitely like a side that's artistic that I'm like, that I hold to myself, that I'm like, this is my project and it's like my art project. And then there's like stuff I need to do to get paid, like make Instagram reels for whatever company needs their content. And like there's some amount of artistic like impression on those videos, but I'm not like putting all of it into those. It's more just like because it needs to be done.
I bring it up for the idea that when I watched the intro to your Friends edit from Kimbo Sessions 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I'm like, well, you got the Goonies intro, you fucking figured out like what Friends are about because you had to think about the audio. Now you have a visual that's overlaid twice that represents the Friends. Then you made it fucking accentuated by putting the words on the screen. And I was just like, okay, that's too many layers, because if I watch the average edit that anyone I've watched, to be honest, like it's just, there's no layers of making me think. You know, it's just like I only get what I see. And
yeah,
so
and I think that's like
a little different, I think.
My projects have like tons of hidden elements, I guess, or like just elements where like if you were to watch it again, you'd find more in each part of it. So
so you're linked up, just storyline, you're linked up with all these individual riders and they're putting you on. Quinn's like, you're sick, come with me. Henrik's like, you're sick, come with me. You know, you can go on and on. When did the brands realize how valuable you were and start getting like retainers with you and trying to really keep you in the mix regularly?
After that Armada week in Clapham, then then they put me on, or like I guess come that next fall they put me on to like a good program, and we're like, yeah, we want like your content for whatever socials, and we just want you filming with whoever on our team wants to be filming.
Could you explain for like the aspiring filmmakers like how that works? Because like anyone can understand like, all right, a homie's gonna hook me up to film him and he'll pay me one time. But when you get involved with a brand, like how do those discussions work, and like what are you looking for? What are they looking for?
Yeah, I mean, it's not always the easiest thing to figure out, and I still feel like I am figuring it out. But like,
Will you call me when you figure it out?
Can I call you when I figure it out?
Yeah, let me know how it works.
No, because I don't know if I ever will if you haven't. So,
Well, no, keep going, man, because it's all individual by project, is what you're saying. Continue.
but in terms of like a retainer with Armada, it's like, okay, we're gonna pay you this amount each month to do this for a set amount of days, and we expect this amount of like reels or whatever, like 3 posts worth of stuff, and that fulfills like my retainer, and that's like the base level. And then there's like, if I pick up a shoot for them filming their kid ski for the day, like that's all additional work on top of my retainer.
But they're
And it's
Do you know,
really nice.
do you know anyone else that has a job like you?
No,
Okay.
not really. Or like, I think if I thought about it hard, yeah, maybe like hot laps or something. But
The only thing I was thinking in my life, I remember photographers sometimes had a retainer from a ski company, right? So the only thing I can relate this to is maybe a guy named Alex O'Brien, who's a still photographer that K2 hired him on. And then his job was exactly what you just said. And then he had to shoot their ad campaigns, and that was it. But he got a retainer and that was his job. But it also, I do remember, this allowed him to live very nice with only one contract and one paycheck.
well, yeah, and it takes away like the guessing game of when you'll get money. I mean, there's still the guessing game of what you're gonna invoice like on top of your retainer, but at least like you can be like, okay, I have this retainer coming on this day and this one on this day, and that'll get me through my month. And then there's like the additional money coming in from wherever else. So, because I don't have like non-exclusive contracts with any of the retainer companies, so I do a lot of freelance work also.
Nice work.
Can you say no to like so Armada, for example? They're like, okay, we want you on retainer, so you have to do X number of things for us a month. Do they give you like a bucket of items to pick from? They're like, okay, we have this shoot, and this shoot that you got to go to. Like, how do you pick and choose what you go to? Because if you're not exclusive,
My retainer this year was kind of like just to film Danny and Olivia's segment of the Armada movie. So then from there, we know, okay, I got to film Danny and Olivia and look at their schedule and be like, okay. And then I propose, like, okay, we're going to do this shoot, and this shoot. And then might be like, okay, that's great. And then we have this team shoot and this team shoot. And Brady set up this other shoot. And here's all the days. And here's the retainer for that.
So, how were their segments?
Sick. That's so sick.
They're coming along, but Danny just got hurt. So that kind of
Olivia's. I'm waiting for a dope girls segment.
Olivia's will be sick.
Awesome.
Yeah. And she's still stacking for it, so that's going to be fire. And she's the best woman skier on the planet, I think.
Just claiming it?
So,
I think so too, dude. She's so dope.
I'm claiming it.
She's so dope. Yeah.
I mean, like, actual skier who like actually goes and skis on a daily basis. Not like other girls not to be named who are just like pulling up to the comp with their coach and getting like pushed in at the top. Like
Those girls
she
can't
actually,
be any girl that just is a contest girl can't even be put in her discussion, right? Because they're not doing urban rails. So it's like even like
they're not doing anything.
no, they're not. I agree with you. Big up Olivia.
Yeah. And that's why I think Olivia's the illest. And she's like putting on it harder than all the dudes, I feel like.
You think
So-
she has a segment better than a guy on the team?
No, but not because of her skiing ability, just because of her scheduling. Because
Yeah.
she's going for another Olympics, so she's trying to be on all those World Cups, and that takes up a lot of time that she could have to film. But I think
What is her what's
is-
her strength? Like if you were to look at everything, because we've seen her in comps, I got to seen her in some urban scenarios, and then park a little bit. But like, what do you think is her strength? Is it overall, or does she's got to have one where she's the illest at when she's as good as she is?
park rail skiing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she is like levels above everyone. But urban, I'd say the same thing. Like she's definitely levels higher than everyone else in women.
So there's no better urban skier woman in the world. She's the best urban woman.
I think Bella Bacon is like up there, but I think
Consistency, like I love Bella.
we're gonna watch Olivia like do that shit and be the best ever for a while. So
Oh, big up her, man. She's fun to watch ski.
yeah.
Should
And I just saw her like learn backy mutes like third try, and that was really sick. Like an hour ago or 2 hours ago.
That's so tight. Tell us about the okay. So we got the professional side covered because you're kind of just in that rhythm now of like working for brands and doing that stuff. Tell us about the evolution of your crew, because I like that you got the professional side developed and you're still doing your own creative projects, because a lot of people will just toss those to the side once they get put on.
Yeah. So my crew, Hazard, is still producing movies. They made one more on their own last year, but I was able to edit the whole thing and give them some time filming also. But then this year, I was just really committed to these 2-year projects. So they all were filming with OSAP and Gavin Rudy towards the Browser movie coming out in the fall. But outside of that, I'm always just doing fun projects and things for myself. And honestly, like everything I've done towards Armada movie and all of the Capiche movie is definitely just like a fun project with my friends. Like there's nothing I've filmed for the Armada movie that I felt like I wouldn't have just done for myself. It just happens to be produced by Armada. So that's sick. And yeah, it's really nice that Danny trusts me to film and edit him, because he doesn't really trust anyone else. So
Where's Danny from?
Innsbruck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude,
Well,
we
that's
really want
why.
Danny on the show, Ethan, but I don't think it's gonna happen, dude. He seems
So,
especially,
Olivia expressed a large amount of interest on being on the show.
We should do it after.
all right.
You should do it.
Yep. No,
And
I'd be
she's down.
stoked, man. Talk a little Quebecois.
Let's do
Yeah.
it, dude. I'm down as fuck. I'm
I'll
gonna
be,
hit her up, I'm
I'll
gonna hit her
be
up right
in
now.
Quebec the month of June. Let's do it when I'm living in Stoneyham.
Word,
That
she
could be
might be
sick.
fucking on an airbag somewhere in Europe, but hit her up.
We're not in the
What's up?
same
What's up
place.
with the Danny B, dude? Did Danny B ever do a podcast?
Fuck no.
And why?
I mean,
Like you make
I
it
mean,
sound so
maybe, but
normal. That's not who he is, but he's not Candide, right? We can't get Candide because he's Candide. Why couldn't we get Danny B? Well, go on with him.
oh, you got Candide on April 1st, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a good one. That was all Ethan, not me.
No, I think Danny is just at a place in his skiing and life where he just wants to be skiing and living his life, and he doesn't. I feel like he knows he deserves to be on a podcast and talking about his skiing in his life, but he wants to keep working at that, I think.
Well,
So
that makes sense then.
We're shit out of luck, Iberg.
You know what, dude? That's awesome that someone can do it. I'm always jealous. I wish I could not have one social platform, but I know this helps. This helps me learn stuff. This helps me fucking help Phil and Henrik to know what's going on in the sport. I know this makes kids stoked to listen to, but if I could, I would poof. It'd be awesome.
Just disappear.
Yeah, think about it, like if you don't have to go out and you just get to focus on yourself all the time to try to better yourself, figure out how to be a better you every day, instead of like just be like, everything's awesome. I love fucking skiing, man. Let's fucking talk about it for 20 hours.
but I also think if he like knew either of you really well, he'd talk about skating or something with you on a podcast. I think it's more he doesn't want to talk to people he doesn't know about things that are important to him.
But yeah, I got the same
can't
thing.
speak
It's
for him.
Kai's like my best friend, Peterson. I've known since 11. He don't want to fucking come on here. Pollard, he don't want to come on here. And it's just out of the idea they don't want to talk about stuff we talk about personally. I don't know, whatever. So no stress on that.
Very interesting, dude. I'm stoked. I'm stoked that Olivia wants to come on. I've been wanting to talk to her, so this will be tight. Tell us about the event space, because this is where I think like anyone could be a dope filmer, but I feel like you deserve to be on here because of all the extra shit that you do, and I think the event space is like the dopest part of it. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so after Hood this past summer, I was going back to Salt Lake, and I was like really just wanting a space to edit videos mainly in and film if I could like find the right space. So when I got back to Salt Lake, I started looking at all these different like spaces trying to find something that would make sense, but it was all really expensive and just like not the right vibe. And then my friend Mike like brought the idea to me that I pay all this money to have a premiere in Salt Lake downtown, so why not just have a place for everyone to play their videos? One, have premieres, event space, party space, and editing and filming space. So I was like, yeah, like let's go look at places. If we find the place, like that sounds like a good vision I can get behind. We looked at like so many places way out of our price range and like tried to justify it, but just couldn't. And then I was like walking to the grocery store from my house and like saw that this warehouse just had one of its windows broke in, and I was like, weird, I'm gonna like go in here. Like go in, it's like empty warehouse, perfect like bones for the space we're looking for and what we've been envisioning. And then like call Mike, I'm like, yo, you got to get over here and help me like find the phone number for this place. And we did, and then he like gave us a great price for the space, and we like signed the lease the next day, and we're like just
So are
started.
you zoned to do anything you want? Like, can you have events where you sell a ticket? Can you like sell booze? Do you do all these things?
Yeah, we do everything. We don't always sell booze, but we have been selling booze from time to time, just like because there's a gray area where it's like you can sell a drink wristband for access to beers for like whatever price point,
Okay.
but you're not directly individually selling a beer.
Okay. Yeah, I was always wondering how to do a Salt Lake scene. Because, like, in my head right now, I was waiting for this story to go to the west side. And so, where's your warehouse located?
A sugar house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's perfect.
You
Right
fancy.
in the zone there. So
Okay, how big is it?
like almost 5,000 square feet.
What's the most people you ever put in there?
Between inside and outside, 800.
Crazy. So, what was
We
your
like
vision? Like,
fenced
I
out the
get.
parking lot and had the dust box premiere, which was like at its max point around 800,
So,
850 people.
when you're visualizing this dream, like, I get it. It's a workspace, like, it's an office, but obviously, the big open space has to have these events, right? Because he sold you on the idea that you're spending money. Don't spend that money. Let's invest it here. So now it has to kind of transform to how we're going to make some money off this building as well, right?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely like something I want to make money with, but the base goal is to just clear the rent of the space with events or parties.
So
Just so I can have
what was your
space.
first event?
First event was just a grand opening party with bands, DJs, and I had like some just homie videos playing that night because it's awesome way to just be able to put on whoever I want by having a space to premiere their videos. So
Sorry, my brain just keeps going on an event I want to do with you, but we'll talk about that later. So you have this, so like you have an opening party. What other kind of events do you do? It's not just about like video releases, right?
no, but there's been a lot of those, like mainly in the fall, and then we've done like kind of every holiday party, and we've done galleries, and then we're like gonna do an album release party in June, and like the band is gonna play their album and release that, so that'll be great. But really, like, I don't know, it's endless place of whatever vision you have, you can make it happen there. So
Did you guys do a browser magazine release party there too, or a cover?
yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought I saw last fall or sometime.
yeah, we did that, and then had like the Magma premiere with Owen 3P, the first year the Capiche movie, and the Hazard movie. So
What brings the biggest crowd?
it really depends. Like the popular videos premiering bring a huge crowd, but the parties bring equally big crowd. People are down to party, and it's like pretty much the sickest place. Self-claim, I guess, but
So we're in
sickest
Sugar
place in
House.
Salt Lake to party.
Am I exiting 3300, 4500? What's my exit off 215? I'm trying to get a picture.
It's on 800 East, so like right above 700.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're stoked.
yeah, it's in a good spot.
That's
And
crazy.
like all the homies can like walk or bike there pretty much. Everyone.
You know what I mean? Like if you really think about it, it's crazy you didn't have to go to the west side to figure out this concept.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, I don't want to go there. How are you going to fucking rent this place out?
Yeah. No one wants to go to West Valley, or like no one even wants to like really Uber anywhere. But it's like such a convenient place to go, and just like it's fully a place of our community. Like every circle is just like there when there's an event. It's not like a bar where like, okay, one group is at this bar, one's at that. Like everyone's just at foreclosure when it goes. So
Well, congrats on that, man. I always think, because I always try to look at this, like look at spaces, whether it's the lands, destructure, how you modify it for event space, even though you're a storefront. And then like, it's just fun because we do so many things to gather people.
Yeah.
And so, like, if why not just have the spot rather than, because we're all looking for it, like, all the time. Like, I think even my premiere of Dubski in Salt Lake to rent out, like, whatever it's called now, Club Naked downtown and whatever, it was like $15,000 we spent or something.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's
just-
expensive. It's like $10K a night to rent out the depot, which is like for premieres, like pretty much where you would go. So,
And that doesn't make sense, right? Because ski movies are not, that's not the overall goal. But if you have a space that is multi-purpose, it's perfect.
yeah.
So, wicked.
No, it's great. Yeah.
Ethan, what else we got here? We're fucking at the event space. We're
I
at
want to
fucking
clarify
combination.
something about the event space. Was that place for rent, or did you just see an abandoned warehouse? Like, was there a for rent sign on it?
There was like a for lease sign on it, but
Okay.
like tattered and old. And we like tried calling the number and it's like disconnected.
So you
And
just
then,
went
like,
in.
We went into the tattoo shop in the parking lot. And he was like kind of gatekeeping the number because I guess a lot of like random people just like try to get that space.
Yeah.
But then he like realized we were homies and gave it up, and then we called the landlord and he was down. So
Dude, it's so sick.
So you're how old's your homie that's motivating you to do this?
it's like 28, I think.
Okay. Like, I'm just trying to look at it if you were like 21-year-olds being like, oh, woo! Like, already it's pretty impressive. You're on this little journey and mission because it's some adult shit you're doing right now. As far as actually looking at it, having to run numbers, figure out what your mortgage is, know what your monthly shit is, know if it's like you're going to lose all your money in 2 years, even though someone convinced you can afford it now. This is crazy shit. You're 21.
Yeah.
So
And
just to
I'm
make
just kinda-
sure,
I
because
just jumped in the deep end, just went for it, and we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of visions to be completed. And I know this next fall is going to be like the biggest ever. So excited.
So what was big about last winter? You got your space now last fall. So now this kind of like adds a whole new element to your life, because now it's not just you living on the road, meeting new homies. It's like you have a place to go back to. You have a reason why to be there,
Yeah.
right? Because most people, when you go home, it's like, oh, there's my bed. That's awesome. But what's the next trip?
Yeah.
So now you have a whole different vibe where something's really awesome. Probably as cool as being on the road. Maybe sometimes cooler when it rains for 2 weeks, which is hard to say, right? Might be cooler than going Maui to fucking the Arctic Circle, but it is. I'm talking Salt Lake City.
It is.
So,
it's also like every time I come back, people are like, all right, is like a party going down? Like, is an event going down? And then I'll like drop the flyer and people will be like, yo, must mean he's back. Like, party's going off tonight. Like,
so you can do it spontaneous. Like, most of the shit you do is not humongously planned in advance.
no, I mean, we've done at minimum like 3 or 4 day planning, but some of it is like properly planned and like measured, but some of it it's just like, all right, we're gonna throw a party. I got my homie DJ and I got some homies working security, and it's $5 at the door. And
Does your venue get the Armada Salt Lake premiere?
No, the after party
Okay. Where's the premiere at there?
at the depot.
Okay.
But they need some different shit because they're doing like, they got a whole vision of like live performances, and
Yeah.
you'll see. I'm sure you already know, but
There's
for the viewers of Minimal out here,
we got a viewer question from Lemur. He said, "Tell us about the most hectic night of foreclosure. Was it Halloween, Christmas party, something else?"
yeah, that's a tough one. In my eyes, it was Halloween was the craziest ever, and I'm really excited for next year's Halloween because we spent like 5 days just like fully making this place spooky and decorated and sick. But we didn't market it much, and we were just like, okay, like 100 of our good homies are gonna come and like dress up for like a Halloween party. It'll be chill. When we open the door at 10, there's a line of 200 people out from the door to like past the street, just like fiending to get in. And we're like, okay, we're like severely underwhelmed. I like didn't hire security for that night because all my homies were like, yeah, it'll be a chill one, like whatever. We like ticket probably the first like 100, 200 people, and then we're like, yo, this is fucked up. And that party just went like full Project X mode, and thankfully, like nothing bad came of it. It was just like one of the top memories of foreclosure history to this point.
Have you had the cops come ever?
Yeah, the cops came on Christmas because people were just being whack and like fighting, and then I don't know, things escalated from there. Professionally said.
But it
yeah,
hasn't caused a problem or like a downfall, like where you're stressed on.
I mean, it adds a little bit of stress because we don't always have like we don't always have the sound like permit because we don't always know, but we're usually like pretty good. We're like
the sound permit is what the struggle is. It's not about like underage drinking concerns or anything like this. Because I always wondered, because it's the only reason I didn't want to ever own a club.
No, because we don't serve alcohol. Like
so awesome.
Sometimes we'll do the drink wristband, but we just make sure everyone at the door is 21. But
so do you sell these people anything?
Admission.
You're so awesome.
And then it's just a free for all, like frat house fucked up party.
So is it everyone's coming in with a backpack on with their own munchies and like whatever they need to survive for the party?
Yep. But like Halloween just ended up being like an open warehouse party, open garage door, and like 700 people, and it was like just insane vibes. And like usually I'm like running around like doing tasks, but that night I just like I left it. I was like, we're just partying and it's sick.
Okay, I need to know this now. If I'm a homeowner or a business owner or some kind of thing owner, and now all of a sudden you have underage people that brought their own munchies, did whatever their own things, cops come, noise, whatever. How are you not responsible for whatever happens on your thing? Because I'm just blown away. I love it. Like, I think you have the dopest shit. I want to come this summer. I'm ready to come next month. But how? I'm jealous. Is it ignorance right now?
I don't fully know the technicalities. I do know we have masses in numbers that are just we are strong. We're a united front. So
that's so fun. Like if you can
all I know
keep it in your circle.
If the cops are there, we are professional and we look professional enough where they don't have immediate concerns, and they're probably just like, that's 500-600 people in front of me. That's a big crowd to disturb. And like, it's a warehouse. It's not like a house. It's like, I don't know.
Well, I'm saying ride the glory train, because if I was a club, I'd be jealous. Right? So like all of a sudden, like if I learn about you, I'd be like, yo, fuck this guy. You know how much shit I have to do that's fucking bullshit, and he's not doing it. So I'm saying ride the glory train, figure out the angles, because what you have is amazing, but don't lose it. You know, like, because you have enough crew where those are probably all 1 degree separation of friends. But second one of those West Sider comes over, you know, because he heard from a friend of a friend. So I'm just saying, I love what you created. I want to be part of it. I want to figure out something. I think it's amazing. And I wish I was 21 and got to go there instead of a frat house in Utah. So, because that didn't exist.
Because it's like, Capiche will do a pop-up, or like all your favorite pro skiers will just be like, it's going to be legendary stories one day to like relive.
It sounds like it
What
already
foreclosure
is,
was.
man.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
It's cool though. It's planting some seeds because there'll be a story one day. It's like, oh yeah, when I was coming up in Salt Lake, I met so and so at foreclosure, and then we ended up doing X, Y, and Z. Like it's a spot to make connections.
Yeah, or E-Cook let me play my video at foreclosure, and then this person saw it, and then
Yeah,
it's going to be crazy one day.
that's so sick. We got another viewer question. Cohen Supple, who's your best foreclosure employee?
Probably Cohen, or
Wait, the guy who asked the question?
yeah.
You just gave him the props he wanted to hear?
Yeah, he does a great
Awesome.
job. He holds it down. He's like, he knows. And my roommate Ben is always putting in the most work for just friendship and just to make sure it happens. Like, he loves celebrating too, and he was all in on the Halloween party and didn't want anything from it. So
sick. Tell us about the because I'm just trying to keep Iberg stoked on all the shit you're doing. The video contest.
What do you think? I'm not getting stoked?
No, but there's even more to get stoked on. I'm just I'm keeping feeding stories. Tell us about the video contest.
yeah, the video contest is just finished its second year. But basically the concept of the contest is just make your best like 2 to 5 minute video with 3 or more of your friends and enter it into my contest, and you have like a month to 2 month window to film and edit it, and then the top 10 to 15 videos I'll premiere for you at my warehouse this year, but last year I rented a space. But then I have like a panel of judges who includes like Brady, Henrik, A-Hall, like a bunch of like the top skiers who like you would want your video to be seen by as a kid for sure. Judge it, and then the winner gets like 2K, or that's what it was this year, is 2K best video. So
How do you get the money?
I just took it from the profits of the event space that night.
Big up yourself. Because I was a big fan of what, like, because it's from your event and then Phil's event, the video contest last fall. Like, it's so fun to know you can be with your homies wherever, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and then like, I don't know, just be able to have an outlet instead of say, oh, there's no contests in my neighborhood. So I think it's awesome what you do. I tried to hype your event as much as I can.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I got like over 70 submissions this year. So that's a lot of kids making videos. Because that's 70 people making videos, and then times that by like 3 or 4 homies in each video. And it's like, 500 people in this contest like caring about videos. So,
and then someone they had to take time to film it, to be the skier, to edit it, put music to it, upload it, transfer it. You still there?
Yeah, it's sick. And like, even if they don't win, they still get a good opportunity to like play their video and get it seen and get recognized, and just like make something for a purpose of past just making something, because they're gonna make it either way if they make videos. So
no, there's so many, and like it was so fun last year just to see your event, and then we did a test event with Henrik with the Harlow music songs, and like that had 52, right? And then Henrik picked that girl that lives in Spain who's from Canada originally, and then after she won that event, because Henrik saw it, she was everywhere last season. I never heard of her name before that event. And then also it got put on that platform. And then like with Phil's event, like the kid that won the YouTube views was a Japanese guy I never heard of. And all of Japan got behind and like raised his views. And I'm like, do you know how dope this is? Like, we're just talking like just different communities that got behind different things that gave a platform for shit that no one ever gets platforms before. So who won your first event?
Noah Woodford, who's like now helping film the Capiche movie and filming at the Ghibli, and yeah, it's like on his way filming. So
it was his
that,
like
that was his
filming.
first thing.
It was his filming and editing that won your contest. He wasn't one of the skiers in your contest.
He was the filmer and editor, and then he had like a group of skiers, and it's judged half on video stuff and half on skiing. So
Wicked. And then who have you already named the second year winner?
yeah, his name's Ethan Vong, and he's definitely killing it too.
Where's Ethan from?
Oregon, I think, but he's living in Salt Lake and going to the U. So, you know, the kids who are winning are getting tapped in. It's sick.
Yeah, it's a small little community. Once you get seen, people kind of recognize you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking, Ethan? You look all deep thoughted.
I didn't know that Woody won. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, Woody won, and then
Yeah.
became my intern, and then I just was like, "Yeah, bro, like go here, do that," and now he just does everything. So
That's so sick. Yeah, we just met. I literally just met him this year at Ghibli Guyberg. So I didn't know that. That was a big first step. That's so sick.
yeah.
That is so sick. I'm reading some of these viewer questions to see what else is going on. Iber, you got anything in the meantime while I'm reading through these?
No, I want to because I don't want to miss anything. Let's do my 2-hour pause. I had 3 coffees this morning. I apologize. I normally don't crack the seal till 2.5 hours. I need about 40 seconds.
All right, do your thing.
So my thought, Ethan, while we're peeing to get it recorded, otherwise I'll forget. We should do for every episode this fall, we should have a little globe and then show where you are, I am, and then our guest. Because even this one's fun, just that. Like we're everywhere in the world, man. It's fucking awesome.
That could be sick, yeah. That'll be fun. All right. All right, video contest. Fucking filming for Armada. Foreclosure. Anything current that we're missing before we dive into viewer questions?
No, just that. Yeah, the past 2 years I've been working a lot on the Armada movie, Ornata, so that'll be an awesome one. And then the Capiche movie Cat Piss I've also been working on the past 2 years, and that's gonna be some shit, I think. And just especially for like the team they have, I feel like it'll be the initial video that's like word like this team's legit, because they're all like individually legit skiers. So
Yeah. Dude, have you heard any whisperings of Zoo Space 2025?
yeah, it's coming.
It's coming?
Yeah, because I've been hearing the whisperings at Foreclosure that something might be happening. We'll see.
Shit. Let's go, dude.
Burn it down, you know.
Dude, do you want to tell the story of Level 1 trying to get the foreclosure space for free?
I want to hear it.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Because I think I've just had this like ongoing stalemate kind of beef with Connor Sucks for whatever reason it is. Maybe because I'm just new and young and oblivious to the Level 1 scene, kind of, and do like whatever I want. And yeah, I don't know. So that had been going on for a bit, but I know him and he respects me as like a professional being and everything. But I hit him up for a ticket to the premiere, and I was like, yo, anyway, I could get a Salt Lake ticket for the premiere. And he's like, yeah, bro, all you got to do is post on your Instagram like the Level 1 like tour thing. And I was like, word, all good. I don't have Instagram right now, so I'll just like buy a ticket. Easy. It's all good. And I thought maybe he would just respond by saying like, nah, like I got you. Like, I know you're about it. Like, pull up, I got you. But he was like, or I can give you 10 tickets and you just host the level 1 after party at Foreclosure. And this was like when I was just getting started and like renovating the space and everything. Probably had it for like a month at this point, because they do their tour super early, like September, and I got the space like end of August. But I was like, nah, like that's just not worth it to me, and it actually like takes a lot or just requires money to make that happen. And he was like, word, totally get it. Like, and at that point, I got a ticket, and I was like, yeah, see you tonight. Lemur and I rock up to the premiere, pretty hammered, probably an hour or two late. He has a bottle of liquor in his pants. They don't let us in. They take the bottle and kick us out and are just like pressing. And then we're like walking home, just all straggling, just fucked. And I start getting all these texts and calls, and they're like, yo, like, Foreclosure's not unlocked. Like, when's the party going down? And I'm like, the fuck? And then Cohen calls me and he's like, yo, Connor Sucks was on stage, like, saying after party at E-Cooks. And then I was just like, what the fuck? Like,
So he did that just to fuck with you because he knew he got kicked out?
Yeah. Or no, not because we got kicked out. Probably just like,
Just
I don't know.
Bring attention to you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He knows
and then
a
I
lot.
didn't have the party.
Okay, keep going.
No, that was
There's
it. E-Cook said no, and the dude on stage at a level 1 premiere.
So do people go to your venue?
Yeah, people pulled up and were like, when's the party? And then I just like told everyone, yeah, like, here's what's happening, and a party isn't that. So
That's fun.
Kid's a clown, dude. It was some clown shit.
That is fun. Great story.
even if it was like disrespect or whatever, I don't really take it too like deep. Like, I know everyone's just fucking around, but I'm not to be someone's joke like that. So
No, that's a funny story though. Like the fact it's so petty, like it's like super petty, awesome. Because now it's like it's like one of those comic things where you're like, man, all right, you got to get him back, and then like you could, I don't know. I imagine if like 50 Cent got in a beef with me, and then he thought he was more petty than me, and then I'd be more petty than him, and then it just bad.
I think E-Cook might be frozen, but E-Cook's fucked with him before a little bit.
Okay, so there's some.
Well, you gotta hear this story too. This shit's funny once he's back. Tell him about the Level P rail jam.
we're Level P rail jam. I remember Lemur was skiing in it, and I was like, fuck yeah, like I'm gonna go up there with Lemur, be like coach, support, filmer, whatever. I mean, along with all the other boys, but Lemur and I were going up there. I remember he was just hungover as fuck, epic style, but he skis the best that way. And I pull up and I start filming on like the lip, and I just from my remembrance, Connor Sucks being like, bro, of course you're gonna pull up and like not even hit me up and ask to film like the event. And I'm like, bro, like this is like my local resort right now. Like, I don't know, I'm filming my homies. And he is like, all right, fine, like whatever, we can talk about this later. And then I just remember there being like that energy to it like the whole day. But then Push and P kind of in the same dynamic of things didn't register for the rail jam and was like, fuck it, like I'm gonna ski in it, I'm gonna put on, like. So then I just gravitated to that and started filming P just like poach and be a menace and kind of just crash and be a wild guy looking wild. And then Connor like noticed all this was happening and started like yelling at P to leave and like get out, and P left for like a bit and then came back and just kept skiing. And I just remember getting the funniest clips of that and put together an edit of like really good skiing and then P just like being a menace and not being registered and whatever, and then edited it up really fast and dropped it before level 1 could drop their recap.
And you called it Level P Rail Jam?
Yeah, just level P.
So I need to know, because I only know about this pushing P guy through Tanner. So Tanner's all old. But then I see what pushing P died. Know nothing about this homie, man. Are you still there?
I think he's there. I disabled his video because it was frozen. E-Cook, you still got us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, bet. I think no video is going to be easier for connection. Anyways,
Cool.
Iber, you can continue. Yep.
All right, so I would like to know from your point, who is pushing P, man? Like what? Like he's your homie?
Yeah, he's my homie, but he's
All right, so what's
the most elusive dude I know. Or not like elusive because he's like everywhere, but like I don't think many people know about his backstory.
I know
like
nothing
who
about him.
he is. I don't even know, and I like have chilled with him. But yeah, he's a crazy guy. He's got.
Should we get P
energy
on the podcast, bro? E-Cook, what do you think?
Yeah, it might be the biggest crash out episode, but you should have him on with like Tanner or something and like really make it a crash out episode. Him, Sammy C, and Tanner all in a room like getting it.
How does Sammy come into that picture? This sounds wild.
I was just thinking about people that love to like get really amped up and like yeah. We'll just leave it at that.
Dude, I've tried to interview P several times. He has let me see the P program. He would say yes, not show up, say yes, not show up, say yes, showed up, phone died 5 minutes in, couldn't get him back on, say yes, not show up. So I've tried to interview P 6 or 7 times at this point.
And that's kind of like who he is in life. It's like, all right, pull up, doesn't pull up, then pulls up like 3 hours later, like fresh off, like committing some like felony, and you know, like I'm like, what the fuck? But all right, savage.
Yo, that shot of him going over the bridge, fucking on 215, and then like he catches his edge or something while pushing. I don't fucking know, but that shit, like I was so bugged out when I saw him. Tanner sent me that. He's like, "Yo, check homie out." Yeah, what is he on?
It was the funniest video ever. What's actually we got something for you. Viewer question. Kongpad 6. What's your craziest push and P encounter?
Oh, see, I can't like, I don't know, can't expose the push and P lore. But if you asked me what was my craziest experience recently or something, I can say it.
What was your most recent experience recently?
My most recent experience of recent activities and experience was this random guy who's not to be named hit and run a car on his way to foreclosure, and in the process of doing so dropped his phone that happens to not have a password on it. And when the cops found the car, they found the phone and opened the phone, and the most recent message was like, pull up to foreclosure, here's the address. And then the cops come to foreclosure like an hour after individual arrives, and when the person arrived, they crashed into the fence outside too, and then ran inside to change and hide. And then the cops stood outside the fence for like an hour with this phone asking each person coming by, do you know whose phone this is, or have you heard anything about a missing phone? And the cops still have that phone. So
It's a fucking awesome story.
That's wild.
yeah, and it was all on his one motorcycle. And when I came back at like 2 or 3 in the morning to lock up, I saw said individual trying to run with their motorcycle down the street to get it started, and it wasn't working. And then they had their homie with a like small Subaru pull up and try to put it on the roof. And from the intel I've received, they were driving down the street with it on the roof, strapped or maybe not, and then hit a bump, and just the whole thing fell on the windshield and destroyed the windshield of the car.
Two things. Have you seen said individual since?
No, because I've been out of town, but I did hear that they gave Ferdy $20 as like a peace offering to give to me if he happened to ruin my event that night.
Second question. Do you think said individual does meth or hangs out with meth inflicted friends?
I think that's for said individual to answer for himself, but he's definitely doing something to enhance the experience of life.
You know, said individual has meth-like activities with throwing scooters on top of a car. I've been
along with other activities. But
oh man, well that was a fun tangent.
That's lit. Here, let's see if I can get eCook's video started back up.
yeah, start my video.
Let's see. Okay, it should be better. We'll disable your video again if you get all scratchy. All right, let's do some viewer questions now that we got the whole shebang. Let's see. Want to get some good ones. We'll do some of the classic. What's your favorites? Ben SB. What's your top 3 Pennsylvania foods, eCook?
Cheesesteak number 1, pierogi probably up there, and see, we just sat down and looked at all the foods from Pennsylvania, and there was like so many. Whoopie pie, third.
That's what's up.
Pennsylvania has like some sick like Dutch, Amish foods that are really custom to Pennsylvania, and it's sick.
You guys ever tip a cow growing up?
No, but we've heard the lure, and like, yeah.
Iberg, you ever do that growing up in the country?
No, but all the cousins and aunts and uncles I heard always did. That was their fun growing up.
All right, let's see. Ryan Voyen, what's your top 3 alcoholic beverages?
Probably an Angry Orchard, Corona, and then Coors Banquet, and then a Red Bull vodka.
Beauty. Let's see. We got one more. We got another. What's your top 3 ski/snowboard films and top 3 regular movies?
All right, gotta bring up my notepad here. Let's see, because people always ask this, but it's such a hard one. Favorite movies are Moonrise Kingdom, Shutter Island, The Internship, Goodfellas, and The Goonies. And then for action sport videos, I'd probably say Bender, the snowboard video, Blessed, which is a skate video, and Play Dead, which is another skate video, and then maybe like Alien Workshop Minefield, which is like an old skate video, and then Guatemalan Persuader. So
Yeah.
Let's go. Word. Let's see what else we got, dude. Woody, just because we've been talking about Woody, Woody's asking, do you think we live in a simulation?
yeah, absolutely. Iberg's an alien.
Iberg, thoughts?
My thoughts is I just sent something to Phil yesterday to learn how to talk to mushrooms.
Oh yeah, Phil was talking about how his girlfriend is gonna start researching talking
I gave him
mushrooms
a new task.
and the language.
What the fuck?
Maybe I am.
This is real. Like his girlfriend he's like going home and he's like, yeah, my girlfriend's studying mushroom language. So
Is it that the thing where you like hook up some like nodes to it and the electricity from it will make sounds?
yeah.
That's what's up. We only got a couple more. Kong Pad 6, what's your take on Salt Lake City culture?
I think it's a great place to make yourself and a great place to lose yourself and become an imposter of who you really are.
Yeah, because we were actually just talking about this with Emmett recently, because Emmett was like talking about the bad rap that Salt Lake gets. And Iberg was saying, oh, I didn't realize that it had such a reputation lately. And so...
Yeah, I definitely think it's a place where like you can get started and make it big and like kind of like LA for like I don't know, Hollywood or whatever. But like you make it or like you see it and then you like see this side of skiing that you never would have, and it's like kind of like never meet your heroes or something, because then it's like, okay, I'm seeing how these people are living and I actually don't like those people even if I like how they ski. And then it's also like everyone, you do something and then everyone else copies, and then it's like the biggest copy place. So it's just like an imposter city, at least within the scene. I think out of the scene, it's like such a unique place. And Foreclosure has brought me like into a bunch of different scenes, so that's cool. But within skiing, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, because I think that's what's really cool that you have access to. Because I've never seen anyone create a scene in the location that you have. The only scene is downtown or west side, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like you either have to do those two. So the fact that you infiltrated Sugar House to create a mass gathering space, I never heard of that. And then when said and done, it's all high end. If it's ski related or art related. Yeah. So it's not like the other places that are like, oh, we're just getting kids that want to party together. So you have a very unique, really cool concept that's happening. Because I've never seen it.
And I'm kind of like seeing the whole Salt Lake scene from like a outside perspective in a way now, even though I'm still fully within it. I don't know. I just felt like at one point I was like living in Salt Lake more and around and like doing the things everyone in the scene is doing. Now I'm like kind of on the path with Foreclosure, and it keeps me in a different like world until everyone comes there.
Well, my advice is ignorance is bliss, and it's the only reason that things get created ever. But if you can now be ahead of it and understand what you have, and you have to understand that, you know how you just said everyone copycats? Imagine how many people downtown and on the west side will be jealous of who you can reach for clientele, for how far away those people are. So all of a sudden, because of the space, will get recognized for having people go there when you're hitting 800 people. So if you can be proactive in that, just so you don't lose an opportunity, because you got it a great deal, you found someone that sold that wasn't selling, and in a place to create, no one else would have bought it as a social gathering spot. It was a warehouse. It was a work
Yeah, it
area.
was a motorcycle shop before.
So you've been able to infiltrate and then create a whole new space. So don't lose it. Because you are young as shit. And so like when you look at that, like everything is so fun, but like it's going to be one of those stupid things that's legal that you weren't aware of. So
For sure.
Online classes, man, go become the best fucking I don't know how to be an owner of land that has people on it.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, maybe take some classes and, get dialed. But I work with good people, and my dad is connected to good people as well. So
Awesome.
it'll all go.
Yeah, just don't want you to lose it because I think what you're doing is amazing.
For sure.
All right, we'll cap it off with a look at the future, some piece of advice. Shoeman, what's your biggest piece of advice for another filmer, whether creatively or interpersonally?
I think creatively, just surround yourself and build your life in a way where you're getting influences outside of just skiing, like whether that's sports or just anything in your life where you can meet other people that are doing something different. Then that brings a different perspective into what you're able to do. And and then I think just overall, just if you have a goal or something on your mind, don't stop or don't let anyone tell you can't do it, because you'll make it happen if you want it. So
Sick. Anything to look forward to? Anything for the future other than the projects you're working on? Anything in the works? Any goals?
I'm gonna just drop more videos than I ever have. I got my archives going and they're ready to come out soon. So I don't know. The next year of what I'm doing will be sick and different. So
I'm so stoked.
that's what I'll say for now.
Word. Iberg, closing thoughts?
Well, his thoughts is wicked, man. The way you've done it, the age you've done it, and the idea that you do it differently, and then also it's not orientated other than the fact that it's just creating dope shit. Yeah, man. Big up yourself on everything you do. Pleasure to meet you. Take time, talk to us, and I don't know, it's fun. Because I've only heard good things from the people I know. So if the people I know say good things, then you're a good person. So
yeah.
I know that too, man. Everyone has good words to say about you.
Yeah, I was talking to B-Dog about you. He was hyped I was coming on today.
Nice.
Because he usually, I feel like, it's like, if I'm trying to leave the session early, he's like, come on, man, everyone else is out here. But I was like, yo, I gotta go to the podcast. And he's like, word,
it's okay.
Go enjoy that. So,
dude, hell yeah. Well, awesome. tell all those folks we say hi, dude. It's so sick. How long are you guys out there for?
Till the 25th or 6th, so a few more days.
Sick, bro. Sick.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, and nice convo.
Yeah, dude. We'll let you get back to being in the Arctic Circle, and we'll record an outro. It was good seeing you, and take care of yourself. Be good.
Yeah, man. Thank you much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Let's stay in touch.
Yeah, for sure. Peace.
Okay.
Peace. Boom. Is he dope or what?
Yeah, superstar. I can't believe it. It's a whole Owen was someone when we talked. I was like, holy shit, you do X, Y, Z. This kid might be on another level.
Yeah.
As far as where I'm seeing what his angles are and why he does it, why he doesn't do it, why he doesn't understand why he does it, and that's why he does it. Fucking ill.
Yeah. He's and his vision isn't even just limited to skiing, as I'm sure you could tell. He's got visions for even bigger industries and more creative shit. So the thing with
and he has the technical ability without caring. Yeah. Because he got educated on it at a certain level. So that's kind of a fun element too. because he can take the not caring element, but then not educating him on the film element, but he's already been educated.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I'll say about Ika. Catch him while he's still in skiing, because I think he's going places. He's just got that work ethic, that vision. I think he could be doing some Nick Martinez.
Oh, he's a hustler, straight up. And
Yeah.
so hustler, he might be the first true hustler we've had on the show.
Yeah.
No, Marie's a hustler. So that's hard actually for me to say. But as a youth that we're talking to,
Yeah.
to see the angles that he's taking and going and grabbing, and it don't have certain relations, but then makes it relate. Like, dude, think about how many people he meets through fucking gathering through music events there.
Exactly.
It's not anything related to skiing.
Yeah.
And then like all these different elements of gathering of people, meeting people, and then talking about what people's dreams are. He's talking to 50 people plus a day about their dreams. And if I can teach anyone that listens to this shit, only talk to people that have dreams. And if you keep sharing each other's dreams, man, is the illest shit you can ever do. Once you start not talking about dreams with other people, you're stagnant, you're going backwards, and you're depressed, you didn't accomplish shit.
Yeah. No doubt, dude. What do you if you could do something with him at Foreclosure, what just, you know.
Fuck, all I could think is because I do only Phil and Henrik shit. So it's just like, man, like how do you do like a B-Dog night? How do you do a Dolo night where they just show up, show the highlights of their stuff, celebrate fucking the sport. You get to watch ill shit, contest runs, fucking movies they made, whatever, interact, and then just have it be a gathering because it's art. It's a pop-up art display, right? But instead of having the pictures all over the walls, there's different images of moving images they produced over the years. And then you meet the artist.
That would have been sick to pair with giving flowers.
Mm.
Like, yo, we're giving this person their flowers. Here's the audio version, so you know the history, and come check out some shit at Foreclosure.
Well, my dream now is I'm trying to poke Bellinger on just doing a celebration of legends at Le Relais in Lac Beauport, Quebec, where it's just guys that came up from that thing. So once a year, they just have a gathering at the chalet and then show all their best segments, contest runs, and have their family and friends. And because it'd be like 700 people that would come out from a community that say, "We love you."
Yeah.
Kids, grandkids, whatever.
So tight.
So, but fuck, I don't know who's next. I don't know when it's next. We're going to figure it out, correct?
Yeah, I think we tentatively have Chug scheduled for next Friday.
Yep, I think so. So maybe Chug is next. We'll see.
Yeah. Will that work for you Friday, you think?
I don't know. We'll find out. I'm going to figure it out tomorrow and the next day.
Okay, let me know, because Chug's responsive. But
awesome. I'm stoked to do it too. I got to piss so bad. I got 10 doobies in.
Oh, yeah.
2.5 hours. So you do the math.
Yeah, we'll let the viewers do the math on that DPH. All right. See everybody next week, whenever that is, and peace.
Peace.